Okay, let's talk about what you can do playing a different part. If you're comfortable with playing those chords and moves pretty smoothly, then you can start adding a bass part. Maybe have play with a friend where one person will play the chords like we've learned it, and the other person plays a bass part to it, and you can have fun together. Basically, when we're playing bass, we're going to play on the thick strings of the guitar. Notice how I'm plucking. Actually, my plucking technique is a little different. I can do it either with thumb, like this, with my two fingers moving in a sort of a walking pattern, or with a pick, only this time I'm actually going to pluck just one string at a time. When we're talking about the C chord, basically all the chords are the same, it's just the location is different. When we're talking for a bass guitar playing a C chord, you're going to play this note right here. It's on the 5th string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to press on the 3rd fret. There's your 6th string C. 2, 3, 4. The next note is an A, and that's actually on the same string, the 5th string, only open. The next note is an F, which is on the 6th string, on the very thick string, all the way at the top here at the 1st fret, and that's probably going to be the one that's going to be hardest to reach. Try not to do this or this. This is the proper way to play it. F, and finish it off with a G, which is on the same string, thick string, on the 3rd fret. This is one spot where which finger to put is kind of open, because doing it with different fingers will open up different options, and I will show you that in a little later. But basically the song stays the same when we're going to play bass notes instead of chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, and G, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be our basic I string chord progression. Here the bass notes are for the bridge section. Again, the concept is the same. We're just going to play according to the notes, the chords of the song. We're starting with an F note on the bridge. She likes to travel around. Back to C. 2, 3, 4. Back to F. 2, 3, 4. Back to G. 2, 3, 4. Also, if we're looking at those breaks that we have on the chords, if you remember on the G, we're playing one note and resting. So we have F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, rest, rest, rest. And you can see I'm doing some fake motion in my hand just to make sure I count those spots. G, 2, 3, 4. Just to make sure I keep track of where I'm at. But that's the bridge. Okay, I want to add a couple of cool little tricks you can do for the song that'll give it a little cool groove happening, especially if you're playing it with another person. See, like I'm doing actually also to little additions and makes it a little more fun to play and give the song a little bit more rhythmic action. What I'm doing for the C chord is I'm going to rotate between playing the C note and the note that's right above it, which happens to be a G. C, G, C, G. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do the same trick for the A minor. A, E, A, E. Notice this is really important here to keep the notes very short, not let them ring. It's not this. What I'm doing is I'm plucking and then landing with the same finger on the string to make it stop ringing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Or you can use the thumb. You can use a different finger to do it. 1, 2. Sorry. 1, 2, 1, 2. I like to use the same finger. It makes more sense to me. Okay, so we got our C. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. On the F, the pattern is going to change slightly. We're going to play first an F, and then we're going to play a C note right here on the 5th string, 3rd fret. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the G. And the G, there's a stop there, but if we do need to go on G, basically I'm moving the same pattern up to fret. G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4. Notice on that F and G, you need to reach for that long note. You can do it with either your pinky or your ring finger if you're comfortable with it. If you want to do this, this is quite a bit of traveling. You might not want to do it, but this is also a good way to get used to holding the fingers like this, and that way you don't have to run around the fretboard as much. For the bridge, the patterns stay the same. It's just that we have to adjust them for the chords. F, 2, 3, 4, and C, 2, 3, 4. F, 1, 2, 3, 4, and G, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're going to play the G with the stop on the bridge, you're set really comfortably because you don't have to travel. F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Back to verse. Another technique that you may have noticed I'm adding in order to make it sound a little bit cool and funky and interesting is a little percussive effect. I'm kind of tapping on the strings, sort of hitting them, but my hand is muting them. My left hand is just touching the string, so no matter whenever I pluck them, you can't hear a note. And again, you can see I'm not pressing them all the way down. I'm just laying my fingers very gently on top of them. And when I play, see how my ring finger lifts up. My middle finger actually helps it a little bit by landing very gently on that 6th string, so there's no notes. And then I tap with my right hand on the strings, and I get a little drum effect. There's the bridge. And you can have fun with this as much as you want. So, just for fun, I pulled out my bass to show you how it's going to sound bass. Notice I'm not plugged in. I'm just going to give you a general idea of what it's going to sound like on bass. And you can play along. Again, if you get a friend to play along with, it's a lot of fun, and that's the start of your band. Notice that the bass has 4 strings rather than the 6 that the regular guitar has. Those strings are exactly the same as the 4 thick strings of a guitar. And that's why you can practice it on guitar and easily move it to bass. You just gotta pretend that you got 2 more strings here, but you don't. Bass tend to be a little longer, a little bigger, and you can see that. Kind of compare it. But the trick is the same. I'm going to play the C chord here. A, open strings. Notice how I'm making sure I mute the strings. One thing that I will point out is you'll see that throughout the video I don't always stay with the same finger or for the same note. For the C, sometimes I'll go for the pinky rather than the ring finger. This is very open to whatever's comfortable for you, especially on bass, which becomes a little larger and the space between the frets is wider, so it might be harder to reach and jump around as much like it is on a guitar. Some of the things I do to help me out, you see I'm using the pinky for this note and the ring finger for the this note. And I'm using my middle finger to help me press the strings. These strings tend to be thicker and harder to press, so I'm using my middle finger. You see my middle finger is actually here pressing along with the pinky to make it easier for me. And there's a G. Again, it's hard for me to do this. Hurts my hand a little bit, so I'm using the pinky. And if I need to, I'll use my ring finger or middle finger to help me press the note. See? Okay, now I'm just having fun. But there you have it.